Games like last night for the Guardians, man, there's something about it. And I know baseball, and I run myself up the wall about this team. Game in and game out. I know it's a long season. I know they have a gap right now. But games like that bother me. There's just something about it when you're playing a lowly team. We, for some reason, can't beat the Tigers. We struggle against the White Sox. Is that a bigger issue with the Cleveland Guardians, watching how they play as we get ready to go for an eventual playoff push and a playoff team? We got a lot to discuss with the Guardians. I've got the power rankings as we get ready to go into the All-Star break, and a ton of football to get to with the Browns. We are just a couple of weeks away from training camp, heading down to the Greenbrier, and you got a big season coming up for the Browns. And we'll start by taking a look. Nick Shook. He goes around the AFC North this morning on NFL.com for his biggest camp preview, storylines, all that kind of stuff. Amari Cooper's contract situation. We got a ranking for Deshaun Watson. Well, I don't know if we really want to see it, but we'll get to that coming up. And this morning on ESPN, best safeties in the game. I want Grant Delpit on that list. And I think there's a world he eventually ascends to that list. I had to click it. I had to see where he was at. We'll get to that coming up. We got the grid. We got the bracket. We'll get the time up. We got the morning update on a beautiful Thursday kickoff of the Kaulig Championships right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Pat McGuire with us this morning. Pat, appreciate you coming in.
Thanks, Matt.
Ryan is already at he already weaseled as well. I'm just saying, I'm not kidding. He weaseled as well. Folks, we had a big day for us. So we kicked things off virtually today for the Kaulig Championships. Golfers are on the course. So here's what we're doing. We're going to do 9 to 11 normally. Big Play Cleveland show is going to start at about 10. They're live from the Kaulig Championships. Drennan goes today, as does Hanford a little bit later in the day. And then tomorrow, we are there live 9 to 11. Josh and Maria will be there. Blake and Greg Williams will be there. What other show tomorrow? What's our other show tomorrow? What am I missing? Oh, my God. Oh, Chico's there tomorrow. Chico's there tomorrow as well. So we got 4 shows tomorrow, 3 today. You think, oh, man, I'm going to miss out. CauligChampionships.com. Get your tickets. $25 gets you in, and you'll be able to go to the tournament, and you'll be able to hang out with us at the Kaulig Infinity Zone. Food trucks, activations. Horse Soldier Bourbon's going to be there. We'll be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. So CauligChampionships.com as we kick things off with that. But again, we'll take you up till 11 o'clock this morning, getting you ready to go before we turn things over to the crew down there in Firestone. Excited to be there. Pat, I appreciate you coming in this morning, man. So you have shadowed on our show, but this is your show debut. I'm happy to have you.
That's right. Riding solo. Ryan on standby.
We already called Ryan. Hey, man, I've been there. You did a great job. You did a great job getting set up. And you want to know what? We're on the air. If you don't have to hit another break, we kind of have to do the Immaculate. No pressure. So you come in this morning with the pressure of the Immaculate Grid. Ryan had already screwed it up this week. We messed up on Tuesday. Ted Bridgewater. It was Lions-Panthers. Lions-Panthers was the player we had to get. And we didn't think of Ted Bridgewater for some reason. It was brutal. It was tough.
I got a good feeling about today, though.
I know. I'm excited for today. So you're in. We usually have good luck when somebody. I'm not saying Ryan's the curse on this whole thing, but usually we do pretty good.
Not saying that.
So we're not saying that. So we'll get to the grid coming up with the giveaway. You want to win a prize from us here? And it's a big prize. We ace it today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. We're going to have a giveaway next week. We don't know what's coming out next week. Might have that giveaway for you next week here on the show. I have a pain. Are you a gamer, Pat? Not really.
Not really.
Not really. Okay. I have a pain. I found out yesterday that I can't play NCAA football on my Xbox because my Xbox is so old. I have an Xbox One. It's 13 years old since it came out, and they didn't do it to that generation of consoles. And I didn't think it was a problem. I thought for some reason that I'd be able to play NCAA on my old Xbox, and I can't. So now I have a debate. Do I buy a new one just to play this game? Do I hold out for the next generation of consoles? I'm so bothered by it. So at the end of the day, maybe my loss is somebody's out there gain, because that's going to be potentially our giveaway next week when we ace the grid. Ace last night did not happen for the Guards. And you know, the question I have with the Guardians, we have so much Browns to get to, but I got to start with the Guards because Did Tanner Bybee have it last night? Very clearly not. But he battled. And he got you to 7 innings. 4 runs given up, not a quality start, but found a way to fight through it. The home run issue that the Guardians are facing right now, it's like a sickness that has been now sent around the rest of the starting rotation for the Guardians, because that was really the big play yesterday. Verlander goes yard, and you just felt this shift. And, Schneeman's home run was great. Did you leave him in there? Whatever. Like, games like that, I shouldn't get angry, because I talk about the highs that I have with this team and the excitement when I see them play well against everybody else. I shouldn't get bothered, but you cannot be losing these games to the Detroit Tigers. You just can't do that. And baseball is just such that different monster. But series like this are going to piss me off. You go for a split today against the Tigers. They damn well better win today. And we'll get our wagers a little bit later in the show. They had damn well better win today. You cannot lose 3 out of 4 to the Tigers. You just can't do that. And I think this team is not limping towards the All-Star break, because there are teams across baseball, they just need to get to this break. Like, the Yankees are probably the prime example right now, but the Twins are surging, right? And they're 5 back, and I'm starting to, creep over my shoulder a little bit and see where they're at. I'm concerned about games like that and more series that I see from this team. The bat show up, you didn't have the pitching, timeliness, some mistakes. I think more than anything, over the last couple of weeks from this Guardians team, I just see some mistakes, some mental errors. And their approach at the plate is one part of it. And you wonder about how the offense is going to be able to carry, because that's been the shocking thing. Everybody thought that if the Guardians were going to be in contention, you have some stellar starting rotation, right? Well, you don't. 3 out of your 5 projected starters are not with you right now. 3 out of 5. And most teams, that'd be a death sentence. So there's no way you can come back from that. The Guardians have battled in part because the offense has showed up. And I'm not going to say that 4 runs is enough to win almost any game. It's about average in baseball of what teams are scoring now, 4 or 5 runs. So you were average on a night that Bybee had to battle. I don't know, Pat. I shouldn't get that angry. It's just one game, and if they can get a win today, which, again, they damn well better get a win today, you split with the Tigers and move on. There's just some things with this Guardians team I'm not a big fan of right now.
Yeah, there's so many things like that. I mean, they had a series earlier in the season in April where they lost 3 out of 4 to the White Sox.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about the White Sox. They play us well, but it's strange that division opponents,
it's funny
I just don't really understand it.
Do they play us well, or do we play them poorly, right? You know what I mean? It's so hard because it seems like, well, let's call it for what it is. We're a young team that maybe takes opponents lightly. Did they walk up to Comerica, which is always a place that we've never played well? I don't know, something about that ballpark. We've never really played all that well. A young team goes up there and go, this Tigers team sucks. We'll just roll over them. It'll be no problem. We'll take 3 out of 4. And all of a sudden now you're in a dogfight to try to split today. So I think it's a young team that maybe are learning their way. I don't want them pressing too much. But also, it's one of those things I very welcome the All-Star break, because a lot of times you would say you don't want the break because you're playing really hot, or you don't want to have the lull because the bats are hot or your pitchers are doing well. This is one that I very much bring on the break. I'm a team that's welcoming it right now. So we'll see how that goes with the Guardians. They get it back in action with a 1 o'clock pitch, right? 1 o'clock today against Detroit on the getaway day. So we'll get to that a little bit later and make our wagers on that. A lot of football I want to get to this morning, though, as we're a couple weeks away from training camp. A couple weeks away from the team gearing up, getting down to the Greenbrier, and your season will be underway. You know how it's turned for me a little, Pat? I go on ESPN now, and I follow all the Cleveland teams. I have the Browns-Packers preseason game. It shows up on my ESPN app. Now, it's a month away. It's not till August 10th. But that gets you that little inkling, that little feel that preseason will be here before you know it. Can't wait for the drinking game. Do you know what the drinking game that we do?
I do not.
All right, so let me explain this to you. You ever do a Shark Week drinking game? You ever heard of it?
I have, yeah.
So, yeah, you know the Shark Week drinking. And it's all when you're watching Shark Week, somebody speaks in an Australian accent, you take 3 sips. There's a dramatic reenactment of an attack, you take 2. When the shark leaves the water, you start chugging and you don't stop till it goes back in. We do that for the Browns preseason games. So we will every game come up with our game sheet. So a lot of times it'll be like a rookie scores a touchdown, 4 sips. Myles Garrett gets a sack, 5 sips. But then we add fun things. Like there was a lot of Cade York ones last year. Or there's, we'll mix in Dustin out. So we'll do that. I'm excited for that. So we get 3 games of that this year with the preseason drinking game. So we'll get to that coming up in August. But we are here and we're ready to go for the Browns. So I click over and Nick Shook has been going around the NFL with the training camp primers for every single team. And this morning, he did the AFC North. So I click on the Cleveland Browns, and we're just going to start as Nick runs through it. Players report on July 22nd. Rookies are in July 22nd. We're 11 days away from that. It's actually a week from Monday. A week from next Monday. We're up for the Browns in training camp. Veterans report that Tuesday. It's at Cross Country Mortgage Campus, as we know, but they're heading down to the Greenbrier for a couple weeks for training camp. Then they go notable roster changes. Okay? Draft. Hall, Zinter, Thrash, Watson, Harden, and Juwan Briggs, all members of the draft class. Veteran additions. Jameis Winston, Tyler Huntley, Deontay Foreman, Naheem Hines, the big trade for Jerry Jeudy, Jermaine Ifedi, Devin Bush. I keep forgetting Devin Bush is on the Cleveland Browns. It's one of the ones that it's kind of weird. It really is. But Devin Bush is here, Jordan Hicks, and they bring back old friend Cade York. The key departures for the Browns. Joe Flacco, number 1, and probably the most key departure. And there's all that debate about what they did, whatever. They made the decision. P.J. Walker, Kareem Hunt, Marquise Goodwin, Harrison Bryant, Nick Harris, Jordan Elliott, Sione Takitaki, A-Walk, and Mike Ford. Several draft picks of the Browns for the departures. Your preseason schedule. Saturday, August 10th, Green Bay. Saturday, August 17th, Minnesota. And the game I don't know a lot of Clevelanders are looking forward to. The 10 o'clock Eastern kick. You're in Seattle for a night game on August 24th. 2 home games for the Packers and the Vikings with the inter-squad or the joint practices. And the Vikings come to town, and then you're out there to Seattle. The schedule notes from Nick, I think, are really interesting. Number 1, talking about the regular season. The Browns play 3 straight road games, weeks 4 for 6, before 3 straight home games, weeks 7 through 9. They finished 4 of their final 5 games against 2023 playoff teams. And we know that gauntlet that the Browns have on the second half of that schedule towards the end. The Browns have the most difficult 17-game slate in the league, just based off of win percentages a year ago and even some of the people that do the projections. When you talk about strength of schedule, a lot of people say it's either what you did last year or what you project them to do this year. Either way you want to slice it, however you want to cut that pie, Browns have one of the hardest schedules in the NFL. Here's the thing from Nick Shook that I really wanted to get to. And he runs through 5 things that we have to know getting ready to go for Browns training camp 2024. Number 1 from Nick Shook. Will Ken Dorsey prove to be the right fit for the Cleveland offense? We know, and I'm going to kind of piece through here what Nick wrote. Replaces Alex Van Pelt as the offensive coordinator. And he said, this isn't your typical offensive coordinator swap because Kevin Stefanski has been the play caller, leaving the OC as more of a supportive assistant than a decision maker. One of the questions, is that going to change with Dorsey? Or is the goal to just bring in some fresh ideas, a fresh mind to an offense that Kevin Stefanski is still going to call? A few key details from Nick Shook talking about Ken Dorsey's arrival. Buffalo's running backs struggled to produce with Dorsey calling plays, but Josh Allen had a lot of success. Could Dorsey provide a similar boost for Deshaun Watson at the expense of Nick Chubb? Now, again, we don't really know his availability, what he's going to be like coming off the injury. And tight end David Njoku has touted Dorsey's offense as juicy this offseason. But it remains to be seen if Dorsey's arrival will produce positive changes as Watson enters this pivotal season. So I think it's obvious that you would lean that way with Deshaun Watson. This is a passing league, And when you don't have elite Nick Chubb, and I battle this, Pat, because it's like, should I be of the mindset that I am getting an elite Nick Chubb back and I'll be surprised if he's not that way? Or am I operating, I don't know what I'm going to get, and I'm going to be surprised if he is elite?
Yeah, well, typical Browns fashion, you kind of have to be prepared for the worst. I think that's how we've been raised here in Cleveland. But Nick Chubb, there's actually room for optimism for once.
I think so. Obviously, coming off the injury that he's done in the past, and also his eliteness is true. Like, this isn't a guy that you're, maybe 3, maybe 4. He was the best running back in football. So even if it's a little step back from that, still damn good. But it's still a passing league. You're still bringing in an offensive coordinator that hasn't had success with running backs. Now, you would say maybe that's a marriage made in heaven. Maybe that's the right thing as you start to pivot away from Nick Chubb or you start to put this on Deshaun Watson. I talked a lot about it this offseason, and nothing has changed. We get ready to go for training camp. This season is all about Deshaun Watson. You know that. I know that. Everybody says that. Anytime you talk about a key for the Browns, it's Watson, or breakout player, it's Watson. I get all of it. So I don't mind loading this up and almost saying Deshaun Watson is going to sink or swim. This team will do the same with him. Put it on him. Throw it 35 times a game. I don't care. At least I'll have my decision. Now, I want to win games, but if you throw it enough, you're going to then figure out who Deshaun Watson really is for this offense. And I guess, and again, we're going to talk about with Shook coming up, like the optimism that Watson can return to form. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say it's waning for me, and it's every single day. I'm like, oh, crap, is he going to get back there? Is he really going to be the guy? We'll find out. You're going to get an answer. Whether it's an answer you want or not, you're going to find out. And if Dorsey's going to come in here, if he calls plays, which I think the biggest thing that Nick is talking about here, who is calling plays? And Stefanski has been mum on that. He's been that way all the years that he's been here. Every year that we'd ask him, who's calling plays? You were AVP. And he would never give an answer, and it inevitably be Kevin Stefanski. I'd have to say, me sitting here today, I feel like Stefanski is going to call plays because he always comes back to what is best for the team. That's one of his favorite lines. What's the best for the team? I think the best is him calling plays. I think he's a really good coach. I've seen him work with a lot of different quarterbacks and have success. And I hope that Kevin Stefanski, with Tommy Reese and some of the other offensive minds, obviously you had to make the change at the O-line there too, you bring in this collective of fresh ideas to give ammo to Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski's been running it kind of one way here and had to make some changes. You've had Alex Van Pelt. Bring in Ken Dorsey. I'd almost do this. Like if I was Kevin Stefanski, I'd sit down with Ken Dorsey, maybe right when he got here, and go, rip me apart, man. Rip me apart. Look at my offense. Look what I do. And tell me what you hate, what you like, and we'll build it back up from there. With your help, with Reese, with Dickerson, with all these new people here, we're going to figure it out. But it's still going to be me. It's still going to be my offense and what I think is best for the team. So do I want Kevin Stefanski to call plays? Yeah. Do I think that's what's going to happen? I actually do. And it's more about, Dorsey has done it before, but I got this feeling, Pat, that if they were going to do it, they would have done it. And it's not that they need to tell us everything that's going on. And I know in minicamp where everybody's out there with a camera trying to see what's going on and who's calling plays, like that would have been the time to completely turn this over to Ken Dorsey. Because now, let's just go down the path. Let's say they do flip. Now you've got to play catch up in training camp. And I know Dorsey has done it before. It's not like you're handing it over to somebody brand new, but it's almost like if you were going to do it in minicamp, let him get his feet wet, and then you can attack training camp the way you need to attack it. And get after it and worry about your plays and your players and all that kind of, because it's just one thing. It's just one more thing I don't need in training camp. You know what I mean? Like it's just one more thing that you got to throw in there when you could have just done this in February or March or whenever they hired him, right? I still think it's going to be Stefanski, but we'll see. So that's number one for Nick Shook, the 5 biggest storylines for the Browns coming up for training camp. Number 2, can the O-line sustain their success without Bill Callahan? Stefanski earned Coach of the Year's honors twice over the last 4 years. The secret sauce was provided by Callahan's expertise with the offensive line. As we know, he left to join his son there in Tennessee. And Andy Dickerson now as the new replacement for Bill Callahan. The performance of Andy Dickerson in the O-line will matter a whole lot to the offense in aiming to help Watson finally produce at a level that we know, that we need him to be. Though it's not glamorous, we all know football starts and ends in the trenches. Browns will need to ensure they don't have a decline there in 2024. Well, you got a two-front war on that. You're bringing in a new all-line coach while you have massive questions on the offensive line. I would have loved Andy Dickerson been here 2 years ago when I knew who all 5 of my starters were before we even broke camp. I got questions. You're going to ask him to approach the development of DeJuan Jones in his first year on the job. You're going to look at this, and I think one of the bigger questions of the offseason, what are you going to do with DeJuan Jones? And if you want to tell me we're starting Conklin and Wills, those guys are paid, they're veterans, we feel better about them being in that role, fine. I'll listen to that. I'm still going to ask, what are you doing with DeJuan Jones? Are you keeping him on the right side? Is this a redshirt year for him to flip over to the left? What happens if one of those guys get hurt? Because very unfortunately, one trend I have had is both of my tackles getting hurt. You assume DeJuan Jones is going to have to play at some point. Or do you flip it and you say, we are going to start DeJuan Jones. He's the best option for us and the best option for his development. Okay, well then who do you sit? What are you going to do? And you're asking that of a rookie offensive line coach, who I know has coached a lot in his career, but that's a lot. I wish Bill Callahan was still here for that. I really do. So that's number 2. Number 3, Nick Shook's top 5 storylines for the Browns enter training camp. The Browns fans must be experiencing deja vu with, once again, a highly anticipated campaign that hinges on, is Deshaun Watson going to return to form? It's the same question that we had last year. It's even the same question that you had when he first got here. Now, we know that there was a suspension looming, and he was going to face that, but he had sat out of football for a year. I mean, it's crazy to say. He's played, I don't know what, maybe 3/4 of a season over the past 3 years. A full year gone, the suspension and the injury. That's where we stand with Deshaun Watson. As Nick writes exactly like that. 2023 plagued by injuries. He lit up the Titans. He came back there on the Ravens. We get all of it. That's where his season ended. Needed the shoulder surgery. Here we are. Had Watson just turned a corner, or was the strong showing a fluke? That's what we need to know. Was what you saw what it actually is, or was that the fluke? He's been afforded plenty of time to recover from his injury and be able to digest the Dorsey offense or the influx, the new offense that they'll be. Nick writes about Watson. He should be prepared, but nobody will know for sure until he actually takes the field. Entering year 3 of his 5-year deal, it's now time to prove himself. If he doesn't, Browns will have to consider a future without him as your quarterback number 1. One of two things happen in this offseason after this season's over. You're either cutting Deshaun Watson or you're signing to an extension. One of those two things will happen. And while I want to win, I need the answer to that question maybe more than anything. And that's where I don't have a problem, Pat, saying throw the football a lot. Everybody else does. And I know the Browns had to do it a different way, maybe because they didn't have the quarterback play they were searching for. And Nick Chubb was a stud. Your offensive line was good. All of that stuff is now up in the air. All of that stuff is just jumbled up. You're throwing dice, trying to think, well, maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. Why don't you just put it on Deshaun Watson? Why don't you just put it on the shoulders of your $230 million quarterback? And I'm a Browns fan. I want them to win. I want them to find their long-term solution at quarterback. But I am more of a Browns fan than anything, so I want them to be healthy for the next couple of years, right? And if that means being able to get out of this contract, which they have yet to restructure, I'm going to hold on to that, Pat. I've been saying that all offseason, and they haven't done it yet. A little piece of me will die the day they do it because I've been so entrenched saying you do not restructure his deal. You bite the bullet this year and figure it out moving forward. I think that's where the Browns are at. Because let's just, okay. Let's say Watson sucks ass. Let's say it's not even like, you're like, It's like, no, like he's missing wide open guys. It's over, right? We cut bait and go. And I don't want that to be the reality, But at least it's like ironclad. Your decision is made and we're going. You know what I mean? Like sometimes indecision is worse than decision. At least then you're done. And we're moving on. And you've paid him a lot of his money. He'll get all of his money. You'll have to hit that a little bit with the salary cap coming up. You get your picks back. But there's your clean cut. And I'll be one that, I've said this, if it goes bad, I'm not going to hold that against Andrew Berry. There's no point in bitching about it anymore. But that's where your clean cut would come, because then you would get your picks back. I don't want to say you get cap relief, but at least you wouldn't be on such a big thing. But at least it's clean. It's clean, and you move forward on it if he's bad. Now, the in-between wishy-washy, I, again, would have to lean towards we're moving on here. Like, I think it has been built up. And I don't apologize for how I feel, and I think this is the right way to feel. Unless he is a top 10, bona fide, there's no debate, he's knocking you over the head that he's back, I think I'm moving on. And I don't even want to play the game of, well, who would you get and what would you do? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But that is unfortunately what I think we have been built up to with Deshaun Watson. Unless he unequivocally knocks you over the head that he is the guy, I'm moving on. And I'm scarred, and I'm hurt, and I'm bothered by what has happened over the last couple of years, and that is 100% influencing my decision on this. But unless he can prove to me that he is a top 10 quarterback week in and week out, we're done. We're done here. And I will give him time. I've got nothing but time. And if that even means throwing this season away, which I hope that doesn't happen, I'm not pulling him out unless it's injury until the wheels have completely fallen off, because I need that answer. I got to have it. So I'm going to leave him in there, even when it's bad, even when he's thrown 4 interceptions. And don't forget, too, there's a little PR game to be played with that, too, to just show, like, again, you want the belief that he's going to be back and he's going to return to form, and I'm holding out hope for that. But if he's not, you got to show everybody, like, we really are done here. Like, we're really done here. And I don't mind saying that for a guy that got $230 million. I saw that, like, I don't know if you saw this, Pat, and there's just so many of these, I'm going to call it for what it is, a bunch of bullcrap articles and accounts, and I don't want to say troll jobs, but just people that got followers as aggregators, and all of a sudden people think that they're gospel of what they're saying. Somebody tweeted something. It was a shot at Watson. He's out traveling. He's not rehabbing this and rehabbing that. That does not matter. None of that crap matters, right? But it comes back to the vast majority want to see him fail. I'm not talking about Cleveland. And I think there's still a faction of Browns fans out there that want to see him fail. They don't like him. And I'm not going to tell you how to feel about somebody. I get every reason why you wouldn't like the guy. But I would have to imagine on 2 schools of thought here. Number one, what he was alleged to have done, people don't like him. Can't say you're wrong for that. So people want to see him fail. The other side is if you're a team with a franchise quarterback or an owner of a team with a franchise quarterback, you're almost required to hate Deshaun Watson. He screwed everything up. He messed everything up when it came to his guaranteed contract. Now, Lamar still re-signed with Baltimore, right? Trevor Lawrence still got his money. Justin Herbert still got his money. Joe Burrow will get his money. Tua Tagovailoa will get his money. But that contract always got brought up. And it was, is this the anomaly? Or is this the trend? And I said that at the jump. I said, this is an outlier. What the Browns did to get Deshaun Watson to come to Cleveland, because he was on his way to Atlanta, they had to make that move. And the rest of the NFL has shown you, we're not doing that. We're not doing it fully guaranteed. Absolutely not. Now, again, these guys got paid very well, but the fully guaranteed thing, that's not happening. So this was your one outlier, but you're still angry at him for doing it, or probably angry at the Browns as well. because you still had to have those awkward conversations. Don't tell me for a second. I'm not yelling at you, Pat. I'm just saying the proverbial you out there. You know Watson's deal gummed up things with Lamar and the Ravens. You know it did. Now, again, they came through it. They finally got it done, but it made it harder than it needed to be. And then again, the public image of the NFL. Outside of Cleveland, nobody wants to see Deshaun Watson work. And again, there's like a competition rivalry thing. I don't want Joe Burrow to work. I try to put Maloik on Lamar Jackson every year, and all he does is sticking to me, right? But nobody outside of Cleveland wants to see Deshaun Watson succeed. Nobody does. And here in Cleveland, I still think there is a group that doesn't either. But you got to put it on. You got to just, I'm putting all of it on Watson. Like every little thing about this season, I'm putting on Deshaun Watson. We got to figure it out. So again, we continue on. Nick Shook's 5 storylines, getting ready to go for the Browns as they start training camp coming up. Number 1, Ken Dorsey, new OC. Where's that going to go? Number 2, Bill Callahan. Number 3, the anticipation of Deshaun Watson returning to form. Here's another one I really wanted to talk about a lot of, and that's number 4 for Nick. Amari Cooper and his situation. Nick writes, Cooper's been a quiet constant for the Browns since his arrival in 2022, posting consecutive 1,000-yard-plus seasons and 14 receiving touchdowns over the last 2 campaigns. He's dependable, but he's also 30 and entering the final year of his contract. Andrew Berry said, remember when he did Amari did that interview with the Better, and he goes, I'm trying to get paid. Andrew Berry doesn't seem to be worried about a prolonged holdout, with Berry acknowledging the situation is simply part of the business of football. But we should all expect this topic to lead Browns coverage until a new deal is done. In the end, it's likely the sides will work something out, even if Cooper misses a little bit of training camp. Pat, do you feel like there's going to be a deal? Like, are you operating that this isn't even a big story? Like, it's a worry. I think we all got to be a little worried about it, but you start from like, nah, man, it's all good. We'll figure something out here.
Yeah, I think I would have been more worried without the Jerry Jeudy acquisition.
That's a good point, too.
I think adding to that wide receiver room really kind of made my nerves go away about it, because Amari would have had all the leverage in the wide receiver room if there was no Jerry Jeudy, and locking Jerry Jeudy up long-term kind of changes things a little bit for sure. But I honestly don't think Amari's going anywhere. I also didn't think he was going to go anywhere before we got him. So it kind of tells you what Andrew Berry and them can do. You know, I think they're going to want to kind of pair him with Watson too. So it sort of depends how Watson does in the early part of the season as well, in terms of Cooper. If they're successful with him, without him, what does that mean for the team? But I think they're going to try to lock him up long term.
Well, and especially that's coming back to putting everything on Watson. Because I don't want the excuses. I don't want the, Amari Cooper's not out there. And I know it inevitably will have, he missed a couple of training camp practices. Ooh, oh my God, it's going to hurt us. Like, no, it won't. No, it won't. Those guys have thrown. Amari Cooper's a veteran. He can miss a week or 2 of training camp and be just fine with it. All right, quick question. We got on this yesterday. We're talking about Jim Brown, about the best Browns player of all time. If Myles Garrett came to you and he said, I need 2 weeks off, I'm going to go shoot the new Superman movie, would you let him out of training camp for 2 weeks to go shoot a movie?
Absolutely.
That's what I said. Ryan was like, no, absolutely not. I go, it's Myles Garrett, okay? He doesn't need to practice. Like, what if James Gunn showed up and he goes, I need Myles Garrett in the new Superman movie? It's all over Cleveland and shutting roads down. By the way,
right up 9th Street.
Do you know exactly 1 year from today, Superman is supposed to be released? July 11th, 2025. It won't happen. It always gets moved, and there's always issues, and we'll figure it all out, whatever. But what if Myles Garrett came to Kevin Stefanski? Hey, man, James Gunn gave me a call. The question is, what role would he play? My first thought, wouldn't Myles, I don't know how big of a comic book fan you are, but I'm a pretty big one. If he played Lobo. Yeah! Now, I've wanted Lobo in every Superman movie ever, and it's never happened. It was supposed to be Jason Momoa. They got rid of that. Whatever. I'm trying to think. I mean, they already have a Green Lantern, but don't tell me Myles Garrett wouldn't kill it as Jon Stewart, Green Lantern. So again, if he came to Kevin Stefanski and said, hey man, James Gunn, give me a call.
Nick Chubb as Batman already.
All right, there we go. Do you think we'll get? I mean, they're shooting over at the state, like Progressive Field. They turned that into the Metropolis Meteors thing or whatever. So they'll have something over there. Like, will we get some Cleveland cameos? It's not like Draft Day where I watch Draft Day and I just see so many people that I know. But do you do a little homage, if you will, to Cleveland? Do you get Myles Garrett? If he came to Kevin Stefanski and said, hey man, I need 2 weeks off to start training camp. I got to go shoot this movie. would you let him do it? Because that's why Jim Brown stopped playing for the Cleveland Browns. Art Modell said no. And he goes, no, man, I'm out of here. I'm going to go shoot my thing. Anyway, I digress. We started talking about that of missing training camp. If Amari Cooper misses a couple weeks of training, I would say a couple weeks sounds like a lot. I'm going to say maybe a week, maybe two. And I feel like that's inevitable. I think with where we're at, with Andrew Berry, you got to remember, he's also got to send a message to the team. Anytime a front office or a GM comes to this issue, you see the good ones on how they handle it, and you see the bad ones that mess it up, fuck it up. And I have all the faith in the world that Andrew Berry's going to handle this the right way. But there's still a way to do it. There is still a way of making sure that the rest of the team understands, like, yeah, we know you need to get paid, but it's not as, like, it's a power struggle. You don't want the rest of the team go, hey, man, Amari Cooper didn't show up, and then he got paid. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just not going to show up. Now, not everybody is to the level of Amari Cooper, right? I get it. But there's a game to be played with Andrew Berry. You got to have your strength, and I think, again, it's coming back to just hard negotiations, right? You want to get negative, you're going to sit down and go, dude, you're 30. You're 30, right? Unfortunately for the Browns, that's about the only knock that you could get to Amari Cooper. He has played through injuries, yes, but he's been productive. He's had a lot of different quarterbacks in there and still is held in the high regard of a top 15 wide receiver. Going to have to pay him that way, even after paying Jerry Jeudy. And I'm sure, here's what I really think is going to go with Amari Cooper. I think he's going to sit out, I don't know, the first week of training camp or whatever. Barry and them will come to the deal, and here's what I think the deal is going to be. 2 years, maybe beyond this season, of a little bit more money, not fully guaranteed. You know, incentives can actually be a degrading thing to a player. When you go to them and go, oh, hey, man, well, 1,200 yards or X number of touchdowns, like that can get a little dicey. You cook up a deal and you add those void years in at the end. I think that's probably where they're going to push. And I also think, Amari Cooper doesn't really care where his money comes from. So if you give it to him and say, well, here's a big signing bonus, or here is a new deal to eat up the last year of this deal, maybe give you a little bit more, but the Browns really don't have salary cap space. Maybe give him the money in the future. I don't know. Like he wants a pay raise. And I think he wants a little more security. This is an extremely pivotal contract for Amari Cooper. This is probably the last deal of his NFL career that will have substantial guaranteed money. And that's the only thing that any agent, any player, that's the only thing they care about is how much is guaranteed. This is his last shot. This is his last trip through the buffet line, if you will, to load the plate up. It doesn't mean that he won't re-sign another deal. It doesn't mean that he won't keep playing, but this is the fat one. This is the big one. The NFL saying for a long time was, your rookie deal gets you in the league. Your second deal gets you paid. Your third deal gets you retired. That is where Amari Cooper is at. Got into the league, got paid on that Dallas deal, and now he's trying to retire. And again, I get it that he's made a lot of money, and for the rest of us, we could all retire on that money. But it's like this is the deal for him to be done and be good for the rest of his career. And I'm not begrudging him the money, but it's also the Browns are a little kind of tight right now with how they're operating in this current moment with the Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah contract up on the thing. And the other thing, Pat, that I don't think anybody talks about enough, you are eventually going to have to dole out more money to the offensive line. You have a decision after this season on Jed Wills, which I actually think an extension is on the table. You might be facing a Joel Bitonio retirement. And if you just want to say, okay, well, you'll just slot Zinter in there, okay, we'll see. Wyatt Teller, Ethan Posick, and Myles Garrett's going to need a new deal. He is severely underpaid as the reigning defensive player of the year. And I'm a little shocked that there's not more heat right now on Barry when it comes to the Myles Garrett contract. I'm shooting from the hip here. But is he not entering year 4 of his 5-year deal? Does that sound right? Does it make it sound good when I'm saying it? So I know he signed a 5-year deal, 125. He is entering. No, I guess not. This is year 3 coming up. I thought it was entering year 4. He's entering year 3. With dead cap all voided all the way out. Dude, they got void. Dude, this is how crazy the NFL salary cap is. Do you know that they have void money for Myles Garrett tied up until 2030? In the year 2030, Myles Garrett, whether he's here or not, will count 4.7 against your cap. Oh, I guess no. There's a void year of $37 million in 2027, but there's like other bonuses they got to pay out for him. Myles Garrett somehow is tied to the Browns until he's going to be 35 years old in 2030. So they can play that game, but I'm a little shocked that there's, I guess, maybe not more of a discussion being had with Myles. And again, maybe he's really happy and they'll cross that bridge, and maybe Andrew Berry just sat down and like, bro, I can't take care of you now, but I'm going to take care of you. It's not this year, but maybe next. So you realize, as tight as you are right now with the salary cap, it's not so easy of just handing Amari Cooper a contract. I had somebody tell me this a long time ago, and they always, GMs can operate this way. When you hand somebody a contract, that's taking a contract away from somebody else. I don't know who that somebody else might be, but if you allocate money here, is that money to go to Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah? Is it to go to Myles Garrett? Is it to go to Denzel Ward for a new deal? All that other stuff that gets tied up in this. Because when guys sign contracts, what? You have exuberance. You're like, oh my God, that's great. Myles Garrett signed a 5-year deal. Eventually, those 5 years run out. Eventually, it is time to redo the deal. And Myles Garrett, I don't want to see him play anywhere else. I don't want to see Nick Chubb play anywhere else. I don't think David Njoku's going to play anywhere else. And Joe Bitonio will finish his career out here. Myles Garrett is of that level. I hope this is a factual statement because I feel it. He will never play football for anybody else but the Cleveland Browns. In the meantime, you got to pay him like one of the best players in football because he is. And there's money to be allocated there. So it's never as simple as just going to Amari Cooper and going, what do you need? What do you want? The thing is, and this is up to Amari and his representation, do they take a discount? Do they say, I mean more to this offense and I like it here and I want to win? And I don't know. Because if you really wanted to play hardball, if you really wanted to play this out, and it could get bad and ugly with Amari Cooper, you go to him and you say, go find me another deal then. Why don't, and the Browns have done this. Go to a player and go establish your market value for me. Go ahead. Go out there, hit the open market, have your agent work the back channels. Find me what somebody else would pay you. And it takes just one team. It takes one drunk team to go, yeah, sure, come on over. We'll pay you $35. That's a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like, it takes one team to say, we'll pay you over market value or market average. And then the Browns are in a bind. But I think at a 30-year-old receiver like Amari Cooper, that might have to be the game that plays. So that's number 4 on Nick Shook's top 4 storylines. Just what's going to happen with Amari Cooper. And I come from a level of confidence. I think it'll get done. I do think he's going to miss some of training camp. I don't really care about that. And get the deal done. I'm fine with this. And this is another important thing from Andrew Berry. And I'm just going to cut it raw here and be cold-hearted son of a gun right now. I don't know if I need Amari Cooper on this team past next year. And that's a real son of a bit thing to say. You see how good he is. You see where you know the future. The future is supposed to be Jerry Jeudy. The future might be David Njoku. You get first-round picks back. We're just like college football is just a breeding ground for receivers now. And you're finding Christian Watsons and Michael Pittmans in the second round. Look at all the receivers here. Ryan was salivating over Ladd McConkey. Find me the future Ladd McConkey. All these guys. You got to find the next one. I don't know if I need Amari Cooper here in 2026. For now, yes. For next year, yeah, maybe. And I guess you would push it to say some of that is tied back to Watson. Watson thing goes belly up, man. You're going to want a receiver like Amari Cooper here. But there's the rebuild. Like, there's just always. You're always perpetually just kind of, filling guys in, getting them back out. I don't think I need Amari Cooper here after 2 years. Real son of a gun thing to say. But that's where Andrew Berry's got to come and make this decision. Final thing from Nick Shook. So again, 5 things getting ready to go for the Cleveland Browns. Talked offensive line, talked Ken Dorsey, talked Watson, talked Amari Cooper. What could be left? Well, I'll tell you. Cleveland's unlikely run of the postseason in 2023 relied heavily on a remarkable defense led by Jim Schwartz. Assistant Coach of the Year, Schwartz breathed life into the unit with an aggressive approach that capitalized on a talented front four and produced fantastic results in the secondary, helping Denzel Ward, MJ Emerson, and Greg Newsome all finish in the top 11 in target EPA in the NFL per Next Gen Stats with a minimum of 40 targets as the nearest defender. Can I break that down for everybody? They were the top 3 of those guys finished in the top 11 when they're thrown at. When they are the nearest defender and they're thrown at, you got 3 of the top 11. That's really, really freaking good, man. And part of that is what Miles and Za'Darius can do. When they're in the face of the quarterback, making life hell, well, it's easier as a defensive back. Now, I don't want it to be sold short. I think Denzel Ward is elite. I think MJ Emerson might be on his way. And Greg Newsome's a really, really solid player. But the whole point, and then again, you talk about the Browns finished first in total yards, 13th in scoring, but we got our asses whooped by Houston in the playoff game and all that. The big change in what Shook is bringing up here is you're changing out your linebackers, right? So Taki and Walker gone, bring in Devin Bush, Jordan Hicks, and we have the toughest schedule in the NFL. And I'll even look at it this way too, Pat. Look at the quarterbacks you got to face. The reason that you have the toughest schedule is because you're facing the toughest quarterbacks. Not just in your division. You got Mahomes. You've got Tua. Dak Prescott. I'm a bit of a Dak detractor over here, if you will. But Shook writes, can the Browns trust this defensive renaissance for yet another year? There's a change. Teams will scheme it up, and they'll find some of the things you did. I guess I come back from this. I will rely on talent. Talent to a point is unschemable. We did Jeremy Fowler, best pass rushers yesterday. Myles Garrett, clear and above the number 1. And a coordinator says if you don't double team, he's going to effing kill you. That's what a coordinator said about Myles Garrett. If you do not double team him, he's going to effing kill you. That's talent. I could coach Myles Garrett. Hey, man, go get him. Ooh, that rip move's good. Oh, I love your swim today, buddy. Good bend. Bend's my favorite word with DNs. They're always like, he's got really good bend. I go, what the hell is that? I know what it means, but it's like bend is always the big thing with the DN. Schwartz, can he follow that up? Can he follow up a year where, again, you got to go back to when people just wanted Joe Woods run the hell out of this town. Excuse me. It was not in a good place. The bar was low, so you look like a genius. But can you do it again? Can you do it again on a team that has an uber load of talent, but do teams figure you out? Do they know what you like to do? But I just look at it from this standpoint. You got a generational pass rusher, solid D-line, linebackers, okay, fine, fill those guys in. I like Jeremiah Usikoromo very much. And a stacked secondary, where, again, you have those 3 guys that finished in the top 11 in EPA when targeted. You got a guy in Grant Delpit that I think is a Pro Bowler. And I think it's a big bounce back here for Juan Thornhill. I think he got hurt last year. Ryan's a bit of a Juan Thornhill detractor, but that's okay. You got talent all across. Can you do it again? Can you do it again? You did it once. It's a tough ask. But I look at Jim Schwartz. Is this going to be this team that's led defensively? You don't want it to be that way because I think you want to be led offensively. And again, it comes back to my answer about what's Deshaun Watson doing. And that, I'll tell you, Pat, too. The scope of me watching Watson, which it just, I'm telling you, you know this, I know, it just comes back to that. Every little thing is just going to come back to this. And I guess like in a scenario where our defense just keeps kicking ass and you keep giving Deshaun Watson the ball in the 30, I'm not going to sit there and go, well, I'd really like to see Deshaun Watson go down the field. No. Did you score a freaking touchdown or not? I don't care if you got the ball in the 5 or the 25. Did you score or not? Like, all of that will be back in the scope of watching what Deshaun Watson is going to do. So I'm all for the defense helping him out any way that they can. Do it. Be the best defense in football again. I don't care. It's still going to give me an evaluation of Deshaun Watson. It will still help me decide if he's the guy or not. And you're going against the grain a little bit with again, you don't want to say defense going against the grain. Everybody's got to have a good defense. But can you ride that wave of momentum again? And also, I guess you could say this about any team or either side of the football. You got to stay healthy. I feel like defensively, it's like, by November, you got 15 guys on that injury report. And everybody's battling something, and it's getting them to the game and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like we faced a little bit here and there. Denzel, hopefully doesn't have to deal with concussions anymore. Delpit missed time. Juan Thornhill missed time. It just seemed like some key guys at a couple key spots missed a game, like not half the season, but 2-3 games here and there. That can throw a wrench into things as well. But the final thing here from Shook is, what are you going to get out of the defense? So, Pat, I want to ask you of the 5 things that Shook brought up. I'll recap them here. Number 1, Ken Dorsey. What's he doing? Who's calling plays? Number 2, Bill Callahan leaving. Number 3, Deshaun Watson. Number 4, Amari Cooper. And number 5, can the defense do it again? What's your biggest storyline starting training camp?
It has to be Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
There's just no way around it. The thing that I was thinking about the whole time, Matt, was actually so playing the schedule game with that Week 10 bye, right? The Browns have a very, very favorable schedule weeks 1 through 9. Cowboys start off, there could be a lot of overreaction on that Week 1 game, but then you get a lot of divisional opponents after that Week 10 bye.
Oh, you get that little stretch right there where it's like the Commanders, the Saints, like you got to make your hay there.
So how willing are you if it's just average through 9 weeks, but he played well against the Cowboys, had a downer against the Saints, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you at? What are you willing to kind of look past through weeks 1 through 9, or does it have to be in totality? What's your kind of...
I love your question, and here's my answer. It's a great question. It's going to be weighted. It's going to be weighted on what you do against your division and against the top teams. So you're right. I don't want him out there throwing 4 interceptions against the Saints. Will I easily forget that if he throws 4 touchdowns to beat the Bengals? Yeah, probably. And there's always, I don't want to say excuse makers because that inherently has a negative connotation to it. I can make any excuse I can. Or, read the stats any way that you want. Stats can lie. Beauty in the eye of the beholder, you're going to see what you want to see. And the same thing. He throws a beautiful pass to David Njoku, splits 2 defenders, and he drops it. People would sit there and go, that dime throw, man. And he's back. Other people go, didn't complete it. It didn't complete. And that's just how people are going to react to it. So you're right. Now, the weighted game thing, I would much rather have him play in the big games. I'd much rather him show up. And it's even how last year, we sit here and be like, man, this is a great season. Do you not still get a little turn in your stomach when you think about that Texans game? Don't you get pissed off when you think about the ass whooping that we got down there in Houston? That erases everything. That erases that. For somebody posted a clip the other day when PJ freaking Walker and Dorian Thompson-Robinson beat the 49ers, missed field goal, and you win that game. Do you think about that? No. You go back to Houston because that's the sourness that you have. That's what you have remembering of the season. The same thing's going to happen with Watson. This game, that game, back and forth, there'll just be a weighted one on the bigger games. And to your point, which you're right, you don't get those till the second half of the season, which is fine. Good. I got no excuse, man. You had 9 games to get ready. You had 9 games to get this crap figured out before you enter that stretch run. And you're right. He could look amazing, and then the wheels fall off, and I'm going to feel bad. He could look so... Because here's the thing. He can't look bad in those first 9. Because if you sit there and you're 4-5 with that run that you got coming out of the bye, that's not going to be good. And I always subscribe to one thing. Football season, that's how it's going to... You're going to win a game you're not supposed to win. You're going to lose a game you're not supposed to lose. There's going to be some little hiccup against some crap-ass team. That happens. And then sometimes you get your upset like you did the 49ers. It all plays out. It all washes out, and we'll still sit there and have that report card. But it's going to be weighted. And will I grade on a curve? Maybe a tough curve. Maybe I'm going to sit there and say, I need it over the top. I just can't have average. It's got to be over the top. And we'll see. Speaking over the top, which is a bad transition to safeties, but it is what it is. Quickly, Jeremy Fowler's rankings. We ran through running backs, D tackles, defensive ends. Let's get to it. The best safeties in the NFL. Now, I start this list by saying I am a giant Grant Delpit fan. I loved that pick when he made it. I know the Achilles thing, which cost him his first year. I think they got him on a steal. I think they got him before some of his best seasons. Would not shock me at the end of the year you see Grant Delpit talked about the Pro Bowl. Now, that being said, did he crack the top 10? Now, this is an interesting one for me, Pat, because when we did, when we did the other positions, why can I not log into my ESPN Plus account? Come on now, man. It's not that hard. So you want to know what happened? I had an ESPN Plus account that I paid for. Then I got it through Verizon. I got it through my wireless carrier. So for some ungodly known reason, I couldn't just transfer it. I had to make a whole new account to be like, well, I'm not paying twice. I'm an ESPN employee. I love ESPN. But I ain't paying you twice. I already get it through my phone. I don't want to have to pay on the side. So they go, well, yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. You're gonna have to create a whole new account. All right, I'm in. It took a little easier than I thought it was.
Don't even get me started on the streaming Peacock games, NBA.
I sucked in, man. I got Peacock. I got Peacock on that $20 for the year deal, but I still got to watch ads, which is bull crap.
I got it for the Dolphins playoff game, but that was about it. So
we just went to a restaurant to watch it. That was cheap. And again, it's like it would have been cheaper for me just to get it at home and watch it, but it was an excuse for me to go out for dinner for that. So that was fine. Yeah, no, I get where you're going. There's a lot of things. How many streaming services you pay for? We got 5 in the Fontana household. 5. And I still have cable. 5, and I still pay for freaking cable. I wait for the day that the Guardians and the Cavs and the Blue Jackets are off of or go wherever they're going to go and make it free. God, I hope so, but we'll get to that in a second. All right, back to the safety list. Wait a minute. Dude. Okay, I'm going to do it on my phone. I have ESPN Plus. I know I have ESPN Plus. Let me read this article, please. Okay, NFL news. All right, we're in. Unless it expired, nobody told me. All right, now we're in. Here we go. So, top 10 safeties in the NFL. What I was going to say is, I think it's interesting. When we did pass rushers, Myles Garrett was, of 80 people that voted on this, nobody had him lower than 3. Nobody had TJ Watt lower than 3. Nobody had Micah Parsons lower than 4, right? So you knew the elite of the elite. And you had that, I think, a little with D-tackle and certainly with the running back. Here's the crazy thing about safeties. Antoine Winfield came out as the number 1 safety in Jeremy Fowler's ranks. So he talks to 80 executives, front office, coaches, scouts across the NFL, and they all fill out a ballot for the best players at each position. Pat, Antoine Winfield, highest ranking, 1. Sure. Lowest ranking, 7. Kyle Hamilton, 1 and 6. Jesse Bates, 1 and 6. Minkah Fitzpatrick, 1 and 7. Javon Holland, 1 and 9. You had 5 different guys get first place votes in this thing, and there were people that had these guys low as 6 and 7. It's just that's just where it gets like stretched out. Where like you look at DNs, you're like Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, TJ Watt, maybe Nick Bosa. That's it. Just to see the safety position, which I think there's been a resurgence, to be honest with you, with that and the importance of it. But it's just to see the landscape being that wide open, which is a little crazy. So again, to run through it, number 1, Antoine Winfield, maybe beauty in the eye of the beholder right there. Number 2, bad for us, Kyle Hamilton. And I actually might put him at number 1. He's a game wrecker there for the Baltimore Ravens. Number 3, Jesse Bates, Falcons. Not our problem anymore. He's out of Cincinnati. I think he's a fine player. I would not put him at number 1. Number 4, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Highest ranking 1, lowest ranking 7, and he was the number 1 safety on this ballot a year ago. He falls to number 4. An NFL personnel evaluator on Minkah Fitzpatrick. He was playing closer to the line of scrimmage this year. Not sure why, but maybe they needed his leadership and instincts up there, but it hurt his bottom line. A veteran AFC scout on Minkah. Still a great player. You have to know where he is at all times and can flip the game with a big play. Ball production always comes and goes at that position. It wasn't his best year, but he's still instinctive enough and tough to make plays when needed. He didn't have quite the same opportunities last season. So that's on Minka. Actually, you want the Kyle Hamilton right up too? So you got to worry about him too. NFC scout on Kyle Hamilton. He's the ultimate Swiss Army knife that was used in every position possible last season. He was a defender opposing offense had to be aware of every snap. An AFC executive on Kyle Hamilton doesn't fit the bill for everyone, but he's really important for them. And you got to know where he is at all points on the field. So that's the two players you got to deal with the most. 5, Javon Holland of the Dolphins. 6, Budda Baker with the Cardinals. 7, Derwin James of the Chargers. Kyle Duggar of the Patriots were 8. Talona Hufanga, the guy from the 49ers, tore his ACL. He's at 9. And number 10, Xavier McKinney. I thought he was a corner. Wasn't he a corner? Or am I misremembering that? I thought he was a corner. He's now with the Packers. He used to be with the Giants. But he's at number 10. Honorable mention, which I thought might be Grant Delpit. Justin Simmons, who's still a free agent, by the way. Jalen Petrie of the Texans. Justin Reed of the Chiefs, who's very good. Marcus Williams of the Ravens. C.J. Gardner-Johnson of the Eagles. Brian Branch of the Lions. And Andre Sisco, Jacksonville. Grant Delpit received votes. That's it. He's there with Jabril Peppers received votes in this thing.
The ghost of Jabril Peppers?
The ghost of Jabril Peppers?
That's just a name recognition thing. There's no way.
Did they ask Bill?
No
Was
way.
Bill on this list? Bill loves him some Jabril Peppers, man.
Michigan homers, I guess.
Something. Okay. Grant Delpit is better than just receiving votes. I guess the injury at the end of the year kind of hurt him on that. I don't know, but I guess there are 80 executives there in the NFL. I'm not. I should probably shut the fuck up. Maybe. That's just me. I don't know, but Grant Delpit's better than Jabril Peppers. I'll just put it that way. All right, let's catch our first break of the morning. Come back. Pat's got the morning update. I'm excited for that. So we'll run through the stories you got to know. Get geared up for the guards today. An important day for the grid, baby. Can we get it again?
Well,
Can we keep it going?
Doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. And you saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
And it's like, just get up there and just like pontificate.
At Kaulig Companies, we are making a difference in the lives of children and families in our community. For 70 years, Firestone Country Club has been a stage for some of the greatest golfers in history, but it's more than just a tournament. Having raised over $30 million for charitable organizations in Northeast Ohio. That's why we're proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Kaulig Companies Championship at Firestone Country Club. Join us in continuing the legacy of giving back at this incredible event and help us make an even bigger impact in Northeast Ohio.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, tis the Law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky Derby.
All right, welcome on back. Fontana Show. Give us a follow. Drop it on Twitter, X, at Matt Fontana Show. You're going to want to follow the YouTube channel. Subscribe there. It's going to be at the Kaulig Championship tomorrow, which is going to be a lot of fun. You can also follow us on Twitch, at Matt Fontana Show, and also Instagram. It is everywhere that you need it, including the morning update. Pat's got it with us this morning. Please take it away. The stories we got to know.
Absolutely, Matt. Yeah, so the first one, we just mentioned it, the Kaulig Companies Championship down in Firestone Country Club in Akron. We're heading down there later today. Show's going to be there tomorrow as well. Any golfers down there that you're looking for?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, man. Like, I love it because these are golfers that I remember watching, like, on the tour. How could you not want to see Vijay Singh? How would you not want to see Ernie Els, John Daly? Like, it's going to be a lot of fun. I would say, Stricker, I'm trying to think. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I've seen Ernie Els. I've followed Ernie Els. I don't think I've followed VJ before. I've not ever seen John Daly. So I think that's got to be it. And by the way, if you missed any of our content last night, Bruce, tell me you don't want to watch Bruce Drennan interview John Daly. Check that out on all of our social platforms at Big Play. That was a lot of fun. Probably him, though. Probably John Daly. I'm trying to think. Did they tee off already?
I think got tee time starting at about 10:10.
Okay, so we're like right around the corner. Okay, so they're about to tee off because I was going to look up the scoreboard to see like kind of who the leader is. Yeah, I mean, I would say there's something. I've always enjoyed Ernie Els. I always, do you want to know why Ernie Els has the best golf name ever? Because your swing should be Ernie Els. You should be Ernie Els when you swing. I think about this. One of my little tricks when I golf. Doesn't really help me, but it is what it is. No, I mean, you have major champions there, which is going to be a lot of fun, but yeah, I would say probably him, Daly. I'm scrolling through back as well just to see. Furyk, you always want to see Jim Furyk. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, Jim Furyk. He the last time the PGA event was held there, he really gave Rory a run for his money. Tiger as well. He really knows that course very well. Yeah,
I think, again, it's just a lot of fun. The only one that you're maybe missing is just Bernard Langer because he's coming off the Achilles injury there, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be down there starting tomorrow. So again, following all the channels, and Bruce Drennan sat down with John Daly. An interview you want to see, go check it out on the Big Play YouTube channel. CauligChampionships.com for tickets, too, by the way.
Absolutely.
$25 gets you into the tournament. You can see us at the Kaulig Infinity Zone. They have the passes for all 4 days. You want to go just the weekend, check it out, CauligChampionships.com.
Yeah, an incredible partnership. Really exciting as well. But so the second one from the morning update, Derek White replaces Kawhi Leonard on Team USA. That was a recent addition out there in Vegas, but are you still surprised Donovan Mitchell didn't get his name called? Bring down the aisle?
A little bit. And it's funny because, like, we start with the dynamic of Kawhi sitting out. And it was clear that the Clippers made this phone call and they're like, okay, we indulged you a little bit. But I mentioned this last night on ESPN, too, because remember when Kawhi left the Spurs and it was because of the handling of his quad injury and he didn't like that they were kind of pushing him? They had a players-only meeting trying to push Kawhi to play and he wouldn't do it. And eventually he left San Antonio. Is that starting to happen again? Maybe Kawhi's seen the light and he's on the other side of it now. The Clippers called and they're like, we're done, And it's been the knee. It's been the partially torn ACL, then the meniscus goes, then the inflammation. Like, I get that they're protecting their investment, and it's even more important because now you don't have Paul George. The Clippers, they're probably better off just getting rid of Kawhi Leonard. Like, Kawhi Leonard and James Harden are not taking the Clippers to even the second round of the Western Conference playoffs. Let's call it for what it is. Because Kawhi is still going to be on his minutes restriction and his load management, and I'm a big Kawhi fan. I am a big believer in Kawhi Leonard. I think when healthy, he is a top 5 player in the NBA. I love Kawhi Leonard. He ain't doing jack squat nothing with that Clippers team. James Harden is beyond cooked. He is beyond fried. And he's just trying to cash checks at this point. I got to tell you, man, when Paul George said I'm done with the Clippers, if I'm them, I'm turning around right away saying, what can we do with Kawhi here? He's on a max, a relative max, but dude, he didn't even make $200 million. Not even making, I know it's a lot of money. He's not some $200 million guy. I think he's on a 4-year, $176. I'm shooting from the hip on that. I think that's Kawhi's deal with the Clippers. If I'm LA, I'm trading him. So that is more of like the answer of saying, dude, we don't want you playing with Team USA. It's under the guise of, we need you healthy and we need you playing. It's really, we eventually need to trade you and we can't have you getting hurt again. Like, I want to say as a bold prediction. I'm going to say it right here. Kawhi Leonard will be traded at the trade deadline this season for the Clippers. That is going to happen because they're not going to be good, and they're going to be staring down the barrel of a full-on rebuild. They never even built it up to what you believed it could have been. I was a believer in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Dude, I said they were going to win the NBA championship last year. Idiot. You moron. I was that big of a believer. I thought the Clippers were winning the championship.
One Western Conference run. Western Conference Finals made it one
That's
time.
it.
Unbelievable.
That's it.
Unbelievable.
And it comes back to you really need to draft your stars. The majority of teams, like the Knicks, they traded for Jalen Brunson. The Cavs traded for Donovan Mitchell. Oh, why are the Celtics so good? Because they drafted most of those guys. You know, the 76ers have created it, but they drafted Joel Embiid. He's there because of that. He's been the consistent. Where do they find Tyrese Maxey? Like, they've been able to find, but like, I don't know. If I'm the Clippers, seriously, I'm trading him away. So that's probably why they made the call to be like, dude, we can't get you hurt. We got to have to trade you out of here a little bit. And I feel bad for Kawhi. That sucks. Like, I'm sure he wanted to play. Now, the debate on replacing him with Derek White. And I saw this. I'm sorry. I want to see if I can find it here. I just saw the clip this morning, and I think it was on Get Up. It might have been on Sportsmanlike. Sorry. Scrolling through. Stuart Scott Day, very important day today at ESPN. Nope, I think it was on Sportsmanlike. I'm sorry, on Get Up. And I want to find the person that said this. I think it was Seth. Was it Seth Greenberg? I think it was Seth Greenberg. It was. He goes, Jaylen Brown is Kawhi Leonard 2.0. Why would you not replace Kawhi Leonard with Kawhi Leonard 2.0 and Jaylen Brown? That's an interesting one to me. The guy's a finals MVP, and you picked a teammate. Now, I love the story of Derek White. Derek White got no 4-year college scholarship offers coming out of high school. He played 3 years of Division II basketball before he went up to D1, got drafted, NBA champion, $125 million contract, and now he's got a chance to go win an Olympic gold medal. That's pretty freaking cool for Derek White. Now, Jaylen Brown's a better player. Of course you would rather start your team over Derek White. Was there team dynamics involved in this? I don't know. The one thing I kept reading about the decision yesterday was they need a defensive-minded guard, right? Where Derek White, who can still shoot threes, he can get in there as a taller guard and mix it up on defense because some of the things that have cost Team USA, either in the World Cup or in the Olympics, they don't have a guard, defensive-minded guard. You know, these guys, they show up in the Olympics, what do they want? They all want to put up points, and they all want to do it. And you look at the collective, they're all offensive guys. Devin Booker doesn't play a lick of defense. Anthony Davis plays well, I guess I shouldn't say about AD. He can play defense. But, like, you need somebody who's going to come on this team and go, I'm not going to be the star, but I'll be your grit guy. I'll be your dirty work kind of guy. And maybe that's why they went with Derek White over Jaylen Brown. So we had enough stars. Maybe we need to find somebody else. I think Jaylen Brown will still make it. Like, are we sure Kevin Durant's all in? Like, he's not playing right now. They had the showcase last night. It was funny. I had people really nervous, but like, oh, we got it. And Team Canada's freaking stacked, man. They got a lot of good players. And Team USA got off to a slow start, and then they came back, and I don't want to say they handled them, but it was okay. But are we sure Durant's going to play? Like, are we sure that somebody else isn't going to, like, kind of step back? I don't know. So I think there's still a chance that Jaylen Brown will make it. I'd have taken him over Derek White, but I do think there's some team dynamic at it. Needed a guard that defends. They go Derek White. Good for him.
Yeah, personally, I don't mind that Donovan Mitchell stays away from the drama.
It's probably a good
well.
call, too. I mean, here's the thing.
Jaylen Brown brings a lot of drama to that
Donovan
team.
is he on the select team? I don't even know if he is. So, therefore, they couldn't pick him. I don't think so. I don't think he is. So, like, here, let's do this. Team USA select team. Because that's like Cooper Flag is on that one. Everybody was shocked by that. I don't think Mitchell was. No, he's not. So here you go. They have Jalen Duran, Cooper Flag, Langston Galloway, Nigel Hayes-Davis, Trey Murphy, Peyton Pritchard, Jabari Smith, Jalen Suggs, Amen Thompson, Keegan Murray, like, you know, a bunch of younger guys, Brandon Miller, Jaime Vasquez of the Heat, you know, because they just know that they're basically going as being in the JV squad. You know, there's not many guys. So I guess you're right. You don't have to be on it because Derek White wasn't. And they just picked somebody. You're right. So I guess you could pick whoever you want. Yeah, I'm probably kind of glad that Donovan didn't. I mean, the real son of a gun to me is like, he signed his contract. I really don't care what he does. Now, this year is very important. He goes out there and tears something. You don't want that to happen. But yeah, I think it's a little interesting that they didn't go Donovan Mitchell. Because, like, okay, so they have Steph Curry. We know that. Who's their, like, true point guard on that team? Right? They're 5-on-5 roster.
Yeah, I know they got Drew Holiday in there.
Right, Drew Holiday. So here are your guards. Steph Curry, Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards is your answer, I guess. Tyrese Halliburton can play guard. Yeah, Drew Holiday. I guess they're doing all right. They're doing better than I thought they were going to do at the guard position. Can I tell you a weird thing that I really like? Is that they just go numbers 1 through 14. You know, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Like LeBron is 6, Steph Curry is 4. I think that's so cool. I think that's pretty awesome. So again, good for them. Got their first win. Congratulations to Derek White. And like you said, Pat, I think it's probably a good thing that Donovan Mitchell is not there.
Yeah, moving on to our next topic. Jose Ramirez, he's going to be in the home run derby this coming All-Star break. Guardians are kind of limping towards the All-Star break, but we'll see Jose Ramirez back in the home run derby. He did it last time in 2022, and I was looking at the names here. It's a little bit of like jumping into a time machine because the number 8 seed, can you guess, Matt, who the number 8 seed was in the 2022 home run derby?
Oh, in the 2022 one.
Yeah,
okay.
2 years ago. Really not that long ago.
Wasn't Vladdy, right?
It was not.
I don't know.
Albert Pujols.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that incredible?
Was it in St. Louis? Was that why? Like, or maybe that was because it was like his retirement year. That's probably why.
So he beat Kyle Schwarber in the first round, too.
Oh, wow.
But Jose lost to Nationals outfielder Juan Soto.
Yeah.
That feels weird to say.
Nationals outfielder Juan Soto, not San Diego Padres now, nor New York Yankees Juan Soto.
So he lost to Juan Soto, 18 home runs to 17 home runs. What are you expecting from Jose? He didn't have any 440-foot home runs in 2022. Do you think he'll try for more power? What do you think?
So now you have this dynamic that they have a pitch count now. So there's still the clock, but you only get 40 pitches because they don't want guys up there just hacking or trying to cheat about the ball hitting the turf. Listen, I like that they added the time element of it because it creates drama, which is fun. But I grew up in the era, Pat, you got 20 balls. And what you did with those 20 balls, now, you maybe took some more time, but that created drama in its own right. So I like how what they've tried to do is meld the two. Here's a time, but here's also a pitch count. But you got to remember at the home run derby, which is why I think Pete Alonso, who I'm probably still going to put some coin on, he knows how to do it. You know, he's been there. Now, Jose has too. You got to have a guy that wants to do it. Like remember when like Julio Rodriguez and Vladdy, when they're going off and they're like, it's a workout. It's hard. You know, I saw somebody send a tweet, which I think it was Ben Axelrod, awful announcing. And he goes, get geared up for 2 weeks of does the home run derby ruin your swing and real sports talking. You're like, he wants to do it, go for it, man. The thing is he bat right or left-handed? It's in Arlington, right?
Arlington, yep.
Oh, no, it's in Houston. Is it in Houston or is it the Texas Rangers?
I think it's in Arlington.
Okay. Is that ballpark more right-handed, more left-handed? I don't know. You know, so we'll have to see on that.
Well, the funny thing, I don't know if you saw what somebody was asking him, you can hit from the right side or the left side. He said, I don't know, I'm not hitting from either right now.
Yeah, well, that's funny. Yeah, maybe that gets him out of the funk. I really thought Josh Naylor was going to do it. Because, like, Josh being the high-energy guy that he is, I feel like the home run derby is, like, meant for Josh Naylor. Let me switch that around. Josh Naylor is meant for the home run derby. I really thought he was going to do it. I'm happy to have Jose do it because it adds. Dude, this is for the fans. I'm a fan. I want to watch Monday night. It's going to be awesome. So here's a little trivia for you. I looked this up the other day. Of all the past Indians Guardians, so they only been doing the home run derby since, like, the early 90s, right? So he joins a list. Prior to him, there was only 5 other Guardians that have ever been, Indians, that have ever been in the home run derby. You want to take a crack at it?
Jim Thome, I believe.
Correct. 97, 98.
Wow. Man. Travis Hafner.
No.
Really?
Never did it. Shocking. I like your guess, but he never did it.
Man. There's got to be someone from that 01 team.
Not around that era, but you're missing 2 guys from the 90s.
I guess Albert
did it 3 times.
3 times. Wow.
93, 4, and 5. Made it to a finals, but lost. No Guardian has ever won it, by the way.
Gotcha.
No Indian Guardian has ever made it.
Did Manny do it as a
Manny
visitor?
did it in 95. Okay. So we had 2 in 95. You had Bell and Manny doing it in 95. So you got 3. Bell, Ramirez, Thome. So now, here's to help you out. The 2 you're missing are obviously since then. So Thome did it in 98. 2 players have done it since Jose did it in 2024 now, 2022 and now 2024. Do you want the years?
I would love the years.
2019.
19. Oh, man. That feels like it should be an obvious one, but I can't think of it right now.
Kind of. It was here and Cleveland, so they had to throw somebody in. Carlos Santana did it in 19. The other one I don't know if you'll get, but I remember watching this live. 2008. Grady Sizemore.
Wow.
Grady Sizemore did it. So again, Jose is the 6th Indian Guardian to do it in history. Bell, who did it 3 times. Manny in 95. Thome in 97, 98. Grady in 08. Carlos Santana in 19. Jose has now done it twice, 2022 and now 2024. And again, no Cleveland player has ever won. Josh Naylor's got to do it. I was just so shocked that he didn't do it. Maybe they asked him. Maybe he didn't want to. Maybe Jose took it first. I don't know. Maybe. I'm excited to watch it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
You got a home run prediction number?
So now with this new thing, which is so crazy, dude.
Yeah,
so when I did my stats to look that up, guys were winning rounds with 8 home runs. They were winning rounds with 4 or 5 home runs because it was just the amount of pitches that you got. Now you got 40. I'm going back. Home run derby. All right, 2023 home run derby. This is what it was, okay? Vladdy won it with a final score of 25-23 over Randy Arozarena. Julio Rodriguez hit 41 in the first round. Arozarena hit 35 in the semifinals. Do we touch 40? I'm going to say no. And I should have looked this up. Can I, real quick, if you'll indulge me for a second, home run derby props. Because if you told me, let's go to covers.com. Julio Rodriguez. Oh no, that was last year. Damn it. How do I not have odds for this year? Hang on. Home run derby props 2024. Because I like where your head is at. If they gave me an over-under of even like 36, will any round surpass 36, slam that under. Because I'm telling you, this pitch count thing is going to screw things up. Now, Vegas will know that. I will say, if I had to pick what they will set the over-under at, I'm going to say like 27. And again, that's way down, but I think with this pitch count thing coming in, I'd set it at 27, and I think that's a really, really good number. I'd take the over for maybe the fun of it. Like, you're then asking, so
Look
again.
at the t-shirt you're wearing. I mean, come on.
You got to bet the over.
Bet the over.
By the way, my lock for the Guardians today is to take the under, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Because here's what I'm thinking. You're talking about 27 out to 13 not out in a timed format. That's a ratio that I think is okay. So I would just need one to be my little twist. And I think with the guys that, they practice for this a little bit, it's going to be the cadence on making sure that you get your 40, but you don't have to rush and just keep throwing the whole time. I hate my own number. I'm going to set it at 27.5. I'll take the under. Ooh, a Superman helicopter. There it goes. Just flew right by the window there. Superman, out and about. 27.5 is what I said. I'll take the under.
Taking the under in the over shirt.
I'll take the under in the over shirt.
For what it's worth, plus 1,400 to win the.
Oh, you did find odds. Oh, thank you. Okay, who is the Julio Rodriguez your favorite again?
So,
is he even in it?
Not in it this year. The favorite is Pete Alonso at 320, plus 320. But yeah, you got
I would probably take Ozuna maybe. I'm out on Bohm.
Yeah.
Gunnar maybe. Because here's the thing I don't know if I like about Jose. He's kind of a smaller guy.
Right.
So you have to exude a little bit more, right? Like, I want these kind of guys, and Gunnar Henderson's not overly hulking or anything like that. I guess I might sprinkle some credits on Alonso. I mean, again, I would assume Bobby Witt, Gunnar Henderson are also some of the favorites.
Right.
That's tough.
Adolis Garcia in his home park, too.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. Adolis Garcia, you could do that.
I mean, he
This is
showed up in the
Alonso's
playoffs.
5th home run derby, searching his 3rd win here. 3rd win. I guess you got to go Alonso. See how it plays out. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, Jose can show out, at least get one
Just
round.
get, yeah, right. I agree. You just get out of the first round.
Yeah,
just get out of the first
absolutely.
round. We'll see how it goes.
So last one I got for you in the morning update is the New York Giants are in the Hard Knocks, the offseason version of the Hard Knocks. You have tapped into this at all?
I'm not like I'm not gonna say I've been sick of Hard Knocks, but like ever since the the Browns have been on it, I just feel like it's been crap seasons. Like I really don't think it's been fun seasons over the last couple years. What do you need? You need star players to come in. The out of season one, though, what am I learning? What am I picking up? Like, at least in training camp, you had those awkward episodes where they would cut guys or you had camp battles or things like that. The out of season one, I don't think it really does anything for me. And I have HBO. I have Max. I should probably watch it to validate the money that I spend on it.
Yeah, there were some interesting points in there with the Giants being on there talking about the Saquon Barkley extension talks.
Yeah.
Because Saquon had tweeted early in the beginning of May, I wanted to be here. I made it clear, blah, 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 blah. But then the GM was on the phone with Saquon. He's like, are you going to even give us a chance?
Yeah.
And basically he said no to the GM's face, which is fine. He's
Yeah.
got all the right in the world to do that.
Can you
but
blame
then
him?
he
Yeah, right,
was
right.
tweeting the opposite of that, where he said, I didn't even get a contract offer. It was just kind of an interesting look into the negotiation aspect of it. That's kind of all of I got out of it.
I mean, they always say one, there's 3 sides to every story. Your side, their side, and the truth. And I guess Saquon is right where he said, I actually never did get a contract offer from the Giants. It's because I told the Giants to kick rocks. You know what I mean? So it's like he is technically right, but it just doesn't look good because it comes out that, he didn't want to come back. I don't blame him. And if I was a Giants fan, God bless those that are, can you be shocked that he did? I'd be like, get me the hell out of here. I don't blame him at all. And now look at the situation. It's the best situation you can probably ask for right now. They're
the
in
New York
Philly.
Media, the New York media is eating.
Oh
it
yeah,
up,
they'll
too.
eat it up and
that's
they'll
the reason
try
they
to
would put the Giants
vilify
on there
him.
anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's again. What are you gonna do? They're gonna vilify him because they do, and that's how they roll. But still, he's out of there. I'm glad he's out of there. I think he's a great pick for fantasy this year. It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, Pat, are you ready? Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Immaculate Grid. Here we go. All right, so there should be a click the grid one. There you go. So now, yes, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking.
We are cooking.
So here's how it goes. Pat, you know how the grid works. We have to do a player that has played for each of the teams, 10 sacks in a season, 9 minutes that we will get here. We do it. We continue our streak. And even if we don't, I'll give the caveat that, Pat was here. It's fine. We're going to knock it out.
We're going to win it.
All you do is click on it, type it in. We'll figure it out. Go. All right, so now we have 2 ways we can tackle it. Do you want to get the Browns just out of the way? Do you want to run through the
let's do
10
that
sacks in a season? Whichever's easier for us.
I think we do Browns first.
Okay, go ahead. Case Keenum's the first one that came to mind there. Can you think of anybody else easier? Because then we can use Case somewhere else. Because I don't think...
Off the top of my head.
That's fine. Just rip Case Keenum there. Okay.
Okay.
Dallas Browns... Huh.
Amari Cooper.
Oh, of course, Amari Cooper. What am I thinking?
Right away?
Idiot. Yeah, go ahead, rip it. Idiot. Not you, me. Baker Mayfield.
Baker. Got to.
Bake show. Got to
Big
do it
show.
for you. All right, let's do 10 sacks in a season. Obviously, I would say Daniil Hunter, right?
Mm-hmm. Jared Allen, maybe.
Go Jared Allen there. Let's go Jared Allen there. Although, does he not work for the Saints too?
Yeah, he might work for that too. We could just do it right here, actually.
But the thing is, can you come up with another
Yeah,
Vikings
true.
player that has the 10 sacks? Because I try to go back to like the purple people eaters of a pat. Like I'm trying, who was like the really good? Because the other thing we've learned, it's got to be 10 sacks with that team.
Oh, with that team.
Yeah, I think we ripped Daniil Hunter there, right? He's got to have 10, and he was there for a long time, right?
There we go.
Okay, good. All right, we're good. DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons, whichever one you want to do. Probably, yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
It's a great
And then,
headshot.
honestly, the one that I thought of was Vita Vea, but I don't know if he's had 10, right?
Right.
That's a high
He's
thing
run
for a D
stopper.
tackle.
Yeah.
First
First one that came to mind was Warren Sapp, but
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go Warren Sapp, right? He had to have 10 in a season. Yeah, good call. All right.
Okay.
All right, now we're cooking. All right, let's go Saints now. Let's kind of recalibrate here. So I always start quarterbacks and think like any, Saints. So obviously Drew Brees doesn't work for any of those. Like backups for you got one? Go ahead.
Jameis?
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Good job. Yep. Rip it. Love it.
Would have worked for a lot of
Love it. He does. We got to remember him a lot.
Yeah.
Saints Cowboys. I want to say like Bradley Roby, but that's not right. There's a DB that I can't put my finger on. Stephon Gilmore never played there. Deron Bland's only ever been with the Cowboys. Something's eating at me with the Cowboys and the Saints. And I feel like it's a defensive player, a defensive back. But we can pause. We got plenty of time here. Plenty of time. Other positions. Run through some Cowboys players. Michael Irvin, no. Does Herschel Walker work there?
I don't know if it's like the Saints, to be honest with you.
There's something there. I don't know, because there's always another team that we forget that Herschel Walker, at least I do, that I always forget Herschel Walker played for. It might be the Falcons, though. It might not be the Saints. It might be the Falcons. Might be the Falcons. Andy Dalton?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right? Andy Dalton.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Good pull.
All right. Okay. All right. Final one here.
We could go back to Jared Allen.
Oh.
Should we try it?
Do it. Right? That works.
I think,
right?
right?
100%.
Bang.
No!
Oh,
No!
Didn't play for the Saints?
No!
No way.
No! Man!
All right, let me see what we got here.
Scroll down.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Adrian Peterson would have been good.
Oh, yeah.
Teddy again. Your boy.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Your boy.
He is the... Oh, my God.
Man.
He is the angel of death for the Immaculate Grid, is Teddy Bridgewater. Why do we not think of that?
Latavius Murray.
Oh, man. Jared Allen.
Wow.
Kansas City. Minnesota. Bears. Panthers, I think, is maybe who we were thinking of. Oh.
That one hurts, I'll tell you.
That one hurts.
That one hurts.
That's all right. We'll figure that out tomorrow. We'll figure it out at the championship. All right, let's catch our final break. We'll recap ourselves. Man, I'm so mad at myself. Are you good with basketball?
Let's try it.
Do you want to try it?
Baseball, to be honest with you.
Are you better with baseball?
Uh-huh.
Try baseball.
Let's try it.
Try baseball. Go to Immaculate Grid. Oh, no.
Yep.
You got it. You got it. All right.
Okay. Played shortstop minimum one game.
Okay. All right. Let's give it a try. Okay.
This one?
Sure. Let's give it a try. All right. Played shortstop. Man. Oh, yeah. Right?
Going with it?
Yeah, that's fine. Born outside the United States in District of Columbia.
How about Soto?
Soto's fine.
Okay.
Blue Jays. No, Vladdy was born here, wasn't he?
Ooh, I honestly have no idea.
Let's see. I don't know. You got one to rip there?
Let's see.
Oh, played shortstop, Bo Bichette. Played shortstop 2000 career. You could do Derek Jeter. I hate Derek Jeter. I don't think he's that good.
Who?
Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter.
I don't think he's that good, but that's just me. Outside of the United States, I don't know why I thought Roberto Clemente for the first. Yeah, there you go. Roberto Clemente was the first one I thought of there. 2000 career hits for Tampa Bay. Is that not Evan Longoria?
Longo.
Right? He's got to have 2000.
Once this mouse starts working.
It's all good. I can't think of any other Tampa Bay Ray that would qualify for that. But again, it's just they had to have played. Oh, no. I mean, again, Evan Longoria might work, but you can do Wade Boggs.
Oh, yeah.
Do Wade Boggs. Yeah, there you go.
For sure.
All right, Tampa.
PJ Upton right here.
Oh, that's a good pull. That's a very damn
so
good
smooth,
pull.
dude.
Yeah, he was. Good pull. San Diego, Tampa Bay. Oh, man. This is where I might need you. I might need you. Struggling. All right. Tyler Glass. No.
Yeah,
Tyler Glass now went to the Dodgers.
He's here.
Who was their other freaking stud pitcher in Tampa that they let go?
David Price went to the Dodgers too.
David Price, but then I'm thinking of the other guy, like kind of a shorter dude.
Oh man, on the Yankees now.
Yeah, maybe. Oh my God, you know what I'm talking about. I don't even know if he actually ever went to San Diego. But, oh my gosh, you want to know one that I think works? Does Francisco Mejia work there? Former Cleveland Indian Guardian. Does Francisco Mejia work there? He does. All right. All right. Just a foreign player.
Yeah. I think
Vladdy was born here, wasn't he?
He was.
So that doesn't
Springer,
count.
maybe? I mean,
where was he born? I don't know. Like,
this one feels like it should be.
It should be easy with as many like Dominican players as they have or across the league. You would think of an easy one, but I can't for some reason.
Edwin Encarnacion. Back in the day.
Rip it.
Hey, all right. Redemption.
I'll ask Ryan. We got it. We got it. We're fighting our way through it. We got it. All right, let's do this. Catch our final break. Come back. We'll do timeout. We'll get you ready to go for the Guardians afternoon game. And we also got to remind you about the Kaulig Championships. We'll do all that when we return. Fontana Show. Stay with us.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
Top 10 war for pitchers for the Tampa Bay.
At Kaulig Companies, we are making a difference in the lives of children and families in our community. For 70 years, Firestone Country Club has been a stage for some of the greatest golfers in history, but it's more than just a tournament, having raised over $30 million for charitable organizations in Northeast Ohio. That's why we're proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Kaulig Companies Championship at Firestone Country Club. Join us in continuing the legacy of giving back at this incredible event and help us make an even bigger impact in Northeast Ohio.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. 'Tis the laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, 'tis the law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky Derby.
Welcome back, Fontana Show, right here on Big Play. Drops follow Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube. All at Matt Fontana Show. All there. We got it for you. Getting ready for the Kaulig Championship. KauligChampionship.com. Get your tickets. They are rocking and rolling with the Big Play Cleveland Show. So check that out, and we'll be there tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sorry, I'm accepting my tickets to get ready to go for tomorrow. No rain track privileges. That happens. Complete my request. I need my ticket to get in. Thank you very much. KauligChampionships.com. Bing, bang, boom. Let's go. Let's get into timeout. So before we start, Pat, because you've been on the show, but no timeout. So we go back. Are you good with the movies? Are you good with movies and TV shows? Okay.
Not my thing.
Not your thing. We'll see how it goes. I'll lay it up for you today because I have 2 movies and 2 TV shows that came out this day in history, but we'll get to that in just a second. We go back just 1 year ago today, the 2023 MLB All-Star Game. Do you want to know the thing I remember about this, Pat? Nobody in Cleveland could watch it. If you had DirecTV, it was during that summer where they were bitching at each other and they lost Fox. I didn't have Fox and now again, up until that point, I didn't care. I have Uverse. I have DirecTV, AT&T. You couldn't watch the game.
Nothing but problems for you on TV,
I
honestly.
know, right. It's so bad, man. And I'm not saying I didn't illegally stream it. I found it eventually, but I'm just saying, couldn't watch the All-Star Game 1 year ago today. But it's so funny that you kind of like forget, 2023 All-Star Game MLB. I can't remember. I didn't watch it, so I couldn't tell you where it was. It was in Seattle. National League won 3-2. Elias Diaz was the MVP. Your American League starters: Jonah Heim, Yandy Diaz, Marcus Semien, Josh Young, Corey Seager, Randy Arozarena, Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, and Shohei Ohtani. Jose Ramirez was a bench player, a reserve player, and Emmanuel Clase made it for the Guardians. So there you go. That was 1 year ago, 3-2 for the National League. This day, 2022, the Steelers announced that they'd be renaming Heinz Field Acrisure Stadium. Got to get that bread, man. It's not what's worse, Paycor Stadium or Acrisure Stadium. I think Acrisure is worse.
Can I pass?
Yeah, pass, please.
Take a pass on that.
Yeah, they're both bad. I know the Browns got to, they will have a naming rights thing, I think, sooner rather than later. They got to pay for some. Maybe they got to figure out what the new stadium is going to be, but let's figure that out. But yeah, Acrisure, it's not even like a Pittsburgh-based company, I don't think. It's weird, but they sell it on out. This day, 2018, John Morosi reporting that in Manny Machado trade talks, remember we were trying to get him out of the Orioles? They wanted them to include Shane Bieber or Tristan McKenzie. Now, I don't think Manny Machado would still be here 6 years later. I'm trying to see what happened to Tristan McKenzie. Maybe you should have made that deal. I don't know. It's a good reminder when you get all hyped up on pride. Now, again, Shane Bieber won a Cy Young in a COVID-shortened year, but he's still dominant. I know he's out this year. Trying to see where Tristan McKenzie is at. Maybe you could have made that deal. I don't know. That's when people get so wrapped up in some of the prospects and don't give this guy up. I need the Guardians to make a trade. I need him to go to the starting pitcher. I almost don't care who they give up. There's a few guys I don't want to. John Kenzie, Angel Martinez. I'm a big Joey Cantillo guy. Other than that, I'd have a conversation. Even Kyle Manzardo. Even Jonathan Rodriguez. Almost anybody else, I'm having a conversation, but don't get all wrapped up in the prospects. Big day for the city of Cleveland. This day, 2014. LeBron announces his return. I was on the air that morning with Aaron. I saw the tweet, and I looked at him. And he goes, "What?" And I go, "Is this real?" And it was the tweet from Lee Jenkins of the article. I'm coming home. Tears were flowing. People were ecstatic. We hadn't even won the championship yet. But people felt like this was your opening to do it. You did it. LeBron comes home this day, 2014. This day, 2002, the Indians fired Charlie Manuel and made Joel Skinner their interim manager. From there, they went to Wedge, then Manny Acta, which was a disaster. I think an interim for Sandy, and then you went to Terry, and now you're into Stephen Vogt.
How about that?
I mean,
got to include DeMarlo Hale in there.
Yeah, DeMarlo Hale, right? Yeah, that's right. I mean, you've had a pretty good run. Wedge should have taken you to a World Series. You were a strike away from doing it in 2007. And obviously, Terry did take you to a World Series. Can Vogt finally get over that hump? I certainly hope so. This day, 1914, Babe Ruth made his Major League debut for the Boston Red Sox. He struck out in his first at-bat, but he pitched 7 scoreless innings to beat the Cleveland Indians 4-3. So there you go. Babe Ruth was Major League debut. 110 years ago. 110 years ago. Aaron Burr shot Alexander Hamilton this day, 1804. Remember that? They're political enemies. They challenge each other to a duel. They go out in the street, and Aaron Burr shoots him, and he dies the next day. Aaron Burr shot Alexander Hamilton in a duel this day, 1804. Very happy birthday goes out to Leon Spinks, the boxer, Andre Johnson, wide receiver, Patrick Peterson, Caroline Wozniacki, Joey Bosa, and former President John Quincy Adams. All right, you say you're not into the movies and TV. Let's see what we can do to work on through this. All right. So first up is a television show. Now immensely I don't want to say immensely popular, but it's a pretty popular streaming-only television show off of Netflix that started this day, 2021. They just finished season number 2. Let me see if I can get you the premise of the show. I will say it's a show that I don't really watch. My wife does. Sorry, it's on HBO. It's a black comedy drama anthology television series following the guests and employees of a fictional resort chain and their interactions that are affected by various psychosocial dysfunctions.
I got you for this one.
You got me?
White Lotus?
That is correct. White Lotus, 2021. Yes.
One of my favorite fun facts, actually, is School of Rock is probably my favorite movie.
Okay.
Ned Schneebly, the guy from that movie, one of the other characters, he wrote The White Lotus.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I did not know that. There you go.
Could not have guessed it from his School of Rock appearance.
No. And like I think it did a lot of Mike White. Yeah, he did. Look at that. Because like Jennifer Coolidge is back. So like my generation knows her as being Stifler's mom, right? And the creation of the MILF word. Whatever. Look it up or don't. Probably don't. So like she was in this, and now she's everywhere. Is she not? I don't know if you've seen season. I think she's in season 2 now, White Lotus. But I think I watched 2 episodes with my wife, and I go, this isn't really my jam. Because season 2, she's back. Tom Hollander was in it. Aubrey Plaza was in it. And I get it. It's like they're on the resort. Like I think somebody got murdered, or they're trying to figure something out. I don't know. White Lotus is correct this day, 2021. All right, next up, a television show that debuted this day, 2013. It follows a group of people that work and are incarcerated in a women's-only prison.
Orange is the New Black?
That is correct. I love that series. My wife and I watched the whole thing.
That was great.
Eventually jumped the shark. Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah. By season 4, it was
pretty much after the riot, it was done.
Yeah.
It was done.
I think everyone, to a T, said right there at that point.
They should have killed it there. Like when Poussey passes away, like that's where it got dark, it got bad. They stopped focusing on Chapman so much. The whole thing with the pool when they're all hiding out, and then when they go to the max security, they should have just edited it. But Orange is the New Black is correct. This day, 2013. All right. Also, now 2 movies for you. This one also came out this day, 2013, and it has to do with the unlikely meeting of a marine animal and a natural disaster.
Sharknado?
That is correct. Sharknado! Yes! Nice! Pat, you're on
the
it.
Serious description of it, too. That was great.
You like that?
Yeah.
A marine animal meets a natural disaster. Sharknado would be correct. All right, final one. We'll go back to this day, Wait a minute. I think I might have a wrong thing on this here. Because, like, I checked several websites to be able to do all this. And the one website said this movie came out this day, 1962. I am on their Wikipedia, and it says it's wrong. It says I'm off by, like, several months. You want to do it anyway?
Yeah, let's go for it. Same year?
Yeah, 62. Okay. This is a coming-of-age legal drama crime film that was adapted from a Pulitzer Prize-winning novel of the same name. The lead character, a very famous actor, in a Depression-era Alabama defending a black man charged with the rape while educating his children against prejudice.
Mississippi Burning?
No.
Okay.
It's got a bird in it. It's got a bird. Won 3 Academy Awards. Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Actor for Gregory Peck, who's nominated for Best Picture but did not win.
I don't think I got this one.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, okay.
I can't say I've seen it, read the book, but I feel like it's one of those ones that always comes up as one of the better movies ever made. But yes, it is
I'm
To
sure
Kill
I
a
watched the movie when I was supposed to read the book in high school.
Probably. Like we all
Right.
did that at one point. You jump on Cliff Notes and figure out, but yes. And again, I don't know if this date, because it tells me that it came out in December, but the one website said it was today. I don't know. To Kill a Mockingbird is the one for today. So well done. Really, really, really well done for a guy that said he doesn't like all the movies. All right, let's jump into it. Guardians back in action today. 110 on the hill. They are actually not favored because Spencer Howard, just acquired from the Guardians, gets the start. He goes against the guy I wanted the Guardians in the worst way, man. Jack Flaherty on the hill for the Tigers today. So again, for Howard, he's only had a couple appearances. He's not been a start. It's going to be kind of a bullpen day. You go up against Jack Flaherty, 5-5, 3.2 ERA, 2-1 in his last 3 starts, but had a rough outing his last go. His last start on June 27th, bit of a gap here for Flaherty. He took the loss, giving up 5 runs over 5 2/3 innings against the LA Angels. Your trends on this game will go like this. Over has hit 4 out of the last 5 games for the Guardians. They're 2-6 straight up in their last 8 games on the road. They're only 1-4 straight up in their last 5 on the road at Comerica. Detroit, 5-1 straight up in their last 6. Over has hit 12 out of their last 18 games. And again, they have owned the Guardians at Comerica Park. You have a run line. Detroit is favored. A minus 1.5 is plus 164. Just on the money line, Detroit minus 140, Cleveland plus 129. Your over-under's 8.5. I kind of like the under. 8.5. I need the Guardians to get a win today. And I think they'll have the little onus. So the fact that they're plus money at plus 129, I think I'm just going to straight up take the Guardians to get the win. I like sprinkling in some hits. I think Jimenez is starting to come around a little bit. I'm going to go this. I'll go 3-leg for you here. Quan hit. You know what? What about Quan 2 bases? Quan hit. Jimenez hit. Guardians win. You like that?
I like it.
Get it going there. We'll get you going there for the Guardians as they're in action again. 110 up there at Comerica. Enjoy the game today. Folks, do not forget, we're going to be down at the Kaulig Championship starting tomorrow. Big Play Cleveland show is on the air right now. You can go check them out on our Twitter, on our social media side of things. They're up. They're cooking. We're going to be down there live 9 to 11 tomorrow. So follow along at Matt Fontana Show. Twitter, Instagram, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and then also on Twitter X as well. So check it out at Matt Fontana Show. And you can get your tickets. CauligChampionship.com. It's not too late. You can get out of work tomorrow. Get there Saturday, Sunday. Tickets start at just $25. They get you into the tournament. They also get to the Kaulig Infinity Zone. Food trucks, activations, we're there. Horse Soldier Bourbon. Check it all out. And we will see you at the Kaulig Championship tomorrow. We're going to be there all day today as well. So be following at Big Play on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere for all the clips, all the interviews. Yeah, John Daly sitting down with Bruce Drennan. A lot of fun. So we'll see you there tomorrow. Pat, really appreciate you coming in today, man. It was awesome to have you here. I appreciate
Looking forward to going down there to Akron.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Really great.
It's going to be. Are you going tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Heading
So
down there today as well.
Yeah. All right, cool. So I'll see you there this afternoon and tomorrow as well. So check it out, CauligChampionship.com. For Pat McGuire, I'm Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.